Hello my friends, this is Jeannie. Welcome. I want to share with you a mini project that I just now completed. I made this beautiful little paper gorgeous girl using some die cuts that I recently purchased. If you have watched my haul videos, then you will know that I purchased 3 of the 4 Santoro Gorgeous Girls die cuts sets that were released. I purchased the little friend, the scarf, and toadstool. I still cannot find Ladybird. She is pretty much sold out everywhere that I have looked, and I don't want to pay the crazy prices that some people are asking for, so I'll wait until she gets back in stock and is at a more reasonable price, and I'll pick that one up. But I did pick up 3 of the 4, and when I showed those dies, I received quite a few requests asking me to demo the dies or at least talk about them once I use them. Well, I finally got around to using the little friend die cut, and I love it. This is what I made. Isn't she absolutely adorable? I love her. She is so cute. Okay, so what are some of the questions, at least that I had when I first got the set? The first question I had was about the quality of the die cuts, and they are great quality die cuts. I cut on heavier weight cardstock, and I ran the metal dies through my Cuttlebug using a standard stack, and they cut beautifully. I then tested them on my Gemini using a standard stack, and they cut beautifully. So in terms of the quality of the die cuts, I am very happy with, extremely happy with the quality of the die cuts. The next question I had was whether or not these die cuts were designed to coordinate with the stamps that have the corresponding names to the die cut. So what I did was I fished out my Gorjuss Girls rubber stamp, the little friend. I stamped the image and tried to cut her out using the, sorry about that, using one of the die cuts that came in the set, this particular die cut, which is just the base cut, which is to me looked to be the entire image of what the stamped image would look like. So using that, I tried to die cut the stamped image, and it didn't quite work out. I don't think the die cut coordinates with the stamp. And I tried it 2 different ways. First, I tried stamping the image, lining up the die cut, and ran it through the machine. It didn't cut correctly. Then I tried running the die through, cutting out the piece of cardstock, and then stamping onto it. And again, it didn't work out. Simply because the proportions are not correct. Look at her legs. Her legs are just not long enough. The stamped image is not the right size for the die cut. The legs are not long enough, so the boots, you see how the boots get cut off there? And also the white area around the card, around the cut, is not an even one. So to me, that's a pretty good indication that they just weren't designed to work together. You can make it work. I suppose you can go through and fussy cut this part out and then cut that part out, but it doesn't solve the issue of her boots getting cut. That drives me nuts. So it's not an exact fit. You're not going to get a precise cut. Can you make it work? Absolutely, if you're okay with this kind of stuff, but I'm not okay with this. For me, if the stamped image is not proportional to the die cut, if you're not going to get a clean cut, then they're not meant to work together. You can fuss with it all you want, but at the end of the day, I think the die cuts are standalone, not meant to coordinate with the stamp sets, even though you can kind of sort of, with one eye closed, get it to work, and get something that is somewhat acceptable. Not acceptable in my book, but that's just me. They are standalone. What do you get with the die set? For this particular one, the little friend, you get 8 pieces. You also get 8 metal die pieces. You also get 8 pieces of cardstock. You get 2 styles, 4 of each. And that's pretty cool. I didn't use it for my particular project, but it's nice. It's a heavyweight cardstock, good quality. The kit or the set also comes with a magnetic sheet that you can store the dies on. This is not the original storage or packaging that it came with. This is after I removed it, cut it down so that it fits in my storage envelopes. And it includes an image on the packaging that I cut out and kind of slipped into the storage envelope so that I know what the final image generally should look like in terms of number of pieces and how they should fit together. The die cuts do not come with any type of instructions in terms of how to put the dolls together. It doesn't come with any illustrations on how to layer them. That's something you kind of have to figure out on your own. The way I figured it out was I ran all of the die cuts through one of my die cutting machines on some scrap cardstock and played with it until I kind of figured out what pieces cut what parts of her outfit, what parts of her body. That way I know how to coordinate things and color things up. Okay, so using my little girl here, let me show you what pieces cut what. So let's start with the base, which her arms. And you can't see her legs in this particular one, but the base piece is this die right here. This die is going to cut your base. When you run this die through, you're going to get this cut right here. And after you stack or layer all of the other images on top of it, the only part of this base that you will be able to see when all is said and done are her arms and her legs. Okay, so if you wanted to use Copic markers, crayons, paints, water markers, whatever your heart wants to color in her flesh, this is the piece you would do it on, the base piece, and you would kind of focus on the ends here. This would be where on the edges right here would be her arms, right here would be her legs. Okay, so I just went in with some Copic markers and threw in some color. You don't have to be precise or neat about it because most of that is going to be covered when you layer the other pieces on top of it. So again, here's my image. Those her arms, and you can only see a teeny tiny bit of her legs here, but that's where you would color in her arms and her legs. Okay, now the purple dress right here, this beautiful purple dress, her dress is cut using this piece right here. This piece layers on top of this one to create the dress. So here's the base with the arms and the legs colored in, and then when you layer this on top of it, you see, you can still see her arms and you can still see her legs. Okay, now on the bottom of her dress, you see this ruffle right here. This ruffle is created using this teeny tiny little piece right here. You create this teeny tiny little ruffle right there. So what I would do, or what I did, was I had the base, Then I put the ruffle at the bottom. You would line it up to fit at the bottom like that. You glue it on, and then you put the dress on top of it like so. Okay, and you see now you have her dress, the ruffle underneath, you have her arms, and you have her legs. There's a reason I colored in this area black, and it'll make more sense to you as I layer more pieces on top of it. So that's what we have so far, right? Now, this little smock right here, this cute, super cute apron or smock or whatever you want to call it, that's this piece right here. And if you take the time to run it through your machine using an embossing mat, you'll get some of these beautiful embossed details. Okay, and you end up with something that looks like this. Let's see if we can get it to focus. There we go. Look at the little hearts. Look at the little swirls. Super cute. And I just inked the edges with some distressing just to give it some interest. And what you would do is you would layer this on top like that. See? So now you have her dress, the little ruffle on her skirt. Okay? Then you have the little apron over it. Now, next thing you can put on are her socks and her boots. Okay, those are two separate pieces. Her socks are used cutting this piece. Okay, when you run this piece through, you'll get something that looks like this. Okay, and you would color up the top part of it because that would be her socks. If you want the socks. If you don't want the socks, you don't need the socks, but it would fit right there, right? And then over her socks, see her socks, you have her boots. And her boots are this tiny little piece right here. And you end up with this cute little set of shoes or boots. And you would layer it right over. See? Like that. Okay? So far we have the base, the ruffle, the dress, her apron. Okay, now the next part you want to put on is her face. Right there, that's her beautiful face. Now, this particular stamped, or this particular face on my doll is a stamped Peachy Keen. It's a Peachy Keen stamp, face stamp that I used. The die cuts themselves, you would use this particular piece right here to cut her face. And if you can see, it has two cuts here for the eyes. So when you run it through, you get just the little openings for the eyes. Okay, and you also get the outline of her hair. So what I did was I colored up the face using some Copic markers. I used a black marker just to cover up some of the whites of the cardstock in case I didn't align it perfectly. I didn't want any of the white to peek out. Okay, so that's her face, believe it or not. And I know it looks awful, but what you would do is you would stack the face on the top, and then here's her hair, and on top of her face is her hair. Okay, so those are all the pieces. That's how all of these pieces work together to create this lovely little girl right here. So let's glue it together one more time so that you can get a good idea of how it works. So here we have the base, and here I colored her arms and her legs. So I'm going to add some glue. And to that, I'm going to add the dress. Now, before that dries, I'm going to slide the ruffle under the dress. Try to line that up there. And that might need a little more glue, so I'm just going to go off camera here for a second just to get some glue in there. It is not easy when you have big fumbly fingers to try to put little ruffle on this cutie. But I do. Boy, oh boy. Okay, sorry about that. I had to add a little extra glue. Okay, so there's the ruffle. Now we're going to add her apron. And again, just applying some glue on the back. Trying to do this so that my hand's not in the way. There we go. There's her apron. Next, we will add her socks. Now, if you didn't want to add socks, if you didn't want to use this piece, you don't have to. You can totally skip that piece and just do boots, and she looks just as cute with just her boots on. But I like the little socks, so I'm going to glue her little socks on. Glue her cute little socks on, just like that. So now she has her little socks on. And on top her socks, I'm going to glue her shoes. Trying to do this without getting my big hands in the way. All right. How cute is she? So there. So far she has all her outfit on. Now we need to get her face together. Now, here is her face with the two little holes. For her eyes. Put some glue on that. And she looks like a hot mess right now, right? She looks a little creepy. But she'll look much better when she gets her hair on. Okay, because that's all she's missing is her hair. And then here's her hair. Put some glue on her hair. Hair makes a world of difference, doesn't it, right? My hands are all covered up in marker, you name it. And there is her hair. All right, let me try to line this up on the bottom. I'm gonna have to go off camera for or out of frame, just long enough to line her up. There we go. Line her up there. And there. So there she is. Now you'll see why on the purple I painted, I colored the top of the purple layer black so that you can see the black through her eyes. Okay. Now, obviously, there's a difference. Here is the face as it's cut using the die cuts. I wanted to play with some of my Peachy King face stamps. So instead of cutting the eyes out like that, what I did was I cut an extra of the base layer that has her head, and then I lopped the head off, and I used it in place of the head with the two holes in it, and I stamped my face, my Peachy King face, onto that particular layer, the layer with no holes, and then glued it on. So I thought she turned out super cute, and I used my Copic markers to color up her face. So super cute. I'm so happy with the way that she turned out. Here she is with the face as cut by the die cuts. And here she is with a face stamp. And the face stamp set that I used, let's see, is, let me find it, is Cherub Face Assortment. I used the 5/8 of an inch size, and I used that one right there. So that pretty much sums up this video. It went a lot longer than I had anticipated, so I apologize for that. But I wanted to share the die cut with you in all its glory, and I wanted to take the time to explain each of the cuts to you and how to stack them up, and I hope this video was helpful. I'm not sure how clear I was being in how to layer them, but you know, hopefully clear enough that you're able to complete the doll yourself. And I absolutely love this. I think it is a versatile little set. You can make so many of these cuties in so many different outfits, so I'm super excited. I got these two right here. Aren't they adorable? Look at them. Too cute. Love them. And here's the difference between using an embossing folder. See all the embossing details on the dress and on the tights, and not using the embossing the embossing mat. I'm sorry, not folder, mat. When you use the mat, you get the details on the dress and you get the details on her socks. Here, I didn't use an embossing mat on all of them, just some of them. I was experimenting, and it still looks good, but you don't have the details on the dress and you don't have the details on her tights or socks. But super cute. Again, In terms of what I think about them, I think they're awesome. I think the die cuts are awesome, and I can't wait to start playing with the next set. So tell me what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you visit me again. Until next time, bye-bye.